The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and A Song of Ice and Fire update video. Well, my friends, I have one hell of an update for you in this video. As a matter of fact, this has to be one of the biggest announcements I have ever seen. It looks like I might be making videos about Westeros for the rest of my life. Now, for those of you that don't know, George R.R. Martin revealed a lot of new information about all the different things he has been working on for HBO as well as himself. In his new NotABlog update, he goes over just about everything, which has me very excited for the future of A Song of Ice and Fire. Let me show you what he said. Since there is so much information to go over, let's get started right away. He said, "I look around and I don't know where last year went. I blinked and it was gone. Not a year that I'm going to mourn much, any more than the year before. A global pandemic, so many of my friends died, as well as celebrities of all sorts. It was a year best forgotten. I did, however, get a lot of work done. An enormous amount of work, if I'm honest. I seem to have an enormous number of things in development. Now, I'm not complaining. I like working. I like writing, editing, and producing. There is nothing I like better than storytelling. I know, for many of you out there, only one of those actually matter. I am sorry for you. They all matter to me. Yes, of course, I am still working on The Winds of Winter. I have stated that 100 times in 100 venues. Having to restate that endlessly is just wearisome. I made a lot of progress on Winds in 2020, and less in 2021, but less is not none. The world of Westeros, the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, is my #1 priority, and will remain so until that story is told. But Westeros has become bigger than The Winds of Winter, or even A Song of Ice and Fire. Okay, now let me stop for a second right here. Now I will say, after reading this section of the update, I did not get the sense that we will be getting The Winds of Winter anytime soon. The fact that he is even still writing The Winds of Winter is insane. As I'm sure most of you know by now, he has been writing that novel for over a decade already. And after reading what he just said, it almost sounds like his writing on The Winds of Winter is actually slowing down. He said he got a lot done in 2020, but he got even less done last year. I'm not sure how he will be able to get any writing done this year when you consider how many different things he is working on. You're about to find that out in a minute once I go over the rest of this update. Now, hopefully, The Winds of Winter isn't the only thing that you're waiting on. As much as I want The Winds of Winter, I'm still very excited about everything else that he's developing with HBO. So, if The Winds of Winter is the only thing you want, unfortunately, you will have to keep waiting and waiting. Now, if you're like me, and you're still interested in the new shows and the other novels based on his A Song of Ice and Fire universe, then you have a lot of exciting things to look forward to. Now, let me show you some of the great news he shared with us. He goes on to say, in addition to Winds, I also need to deliver the second volume of Archmaester Gyldain's history, Fire and Blood. I'm thinking of naming that one Blood and Fire, rather than just the second volume of Fire and Blood. I do have a couple hundred pages of that one written already, but there's still a long way to go. I also need to write more of the Dunk and Egg novellas, especially since there's a television series about them in development. There's a lavish coffee table book coming later this year, an illustrated condensed version of Fire and Blood, done with Elio and Linda, who also helped him write The World of Ice and Fire, and my Fever River art director, Rhea Golden. And another book after that, A Who's Who in Westeros, and that's just the books. There are also the successor shows. Those have taken a ton of my time and attention this year. Now, I have seen some comments out there wondering how much I am involved in these new series. The answer is a lot. Deeply, heavily involved in every one of the new shows. And while I have been working closely with some of the fantastic writers and showrunners, ultimately it is up to me to try to keep the canon. And to do all that I can to help make the new shows great. And I love these stories. Alright, now for me, this was some of the most exciting news he shared in this massive update. We now have even further confirmation that George R.R. Martin is heavily involved with the new shows. As you all know, this is something a lot of us have been worried about. I know I've expressed this myself. I was wondering if he was actually a co-creator on House of the Dragon, or if they were only using his name to help sell the show. Well, it doesn't really look like I have to worry about that anymore. He's letting us know that he is helping them as much as he can. Now, what I like most about what he said is he's making sure the writers and showrunners follow his canon. Hopefully that means they will adapt every word that is written, instead of making things up on their own like we saw on Game of Thrones with David and Dan. Now, they will have to invent some things on House of the Dragon because it's not a fully fleshed out story like a Game of Thrones was in A Song of Ice and Fire. Unfortunately, George hasn't written anywhere near as much about the Dance of Dragons, but hopefully they will be adapting every single thing he has written about that era in Westerosi history. Alright, so let's get back to what he said in the update. He also says, "So far, I am very excited. House of the Dragon has wrapped in London and is now in post-production. What I have seen, I have loved. I am eager to see more. I am excited about the other successor shows as well, however. I am dying to tell you about them, but I'm not supposed to. Well, maybe there are a few things I can say. Things that HBO announced before, or at least hinted at. We are developing live-action shows for HBO and animated shows for HBO Max. No, I can't tell you how many, but it is my hope that a number of these shows will get on the air. Not all, no, it's never all, but more than one. Now, some of the ideas we are working on are quite different in tone and approach than what has gone before, and that thrills me. The world of Westeros and Essos is massive, and there is room in it for many different stories about a wide range of characters. Now, what can I tell you? Well, let's see. Bruno Heller, the creator and showrunner of Rome, is writing his script for the Corlys Velaryon series. That one started out as 9 Voyages, but we're now naming it the Sea Snake, since we wanted to avoid having several shows with numbers in the title. The other one being 10,000 Ships, the series about Nymeria. Amanda Siegel, our showrunner, has developed a couple drafts of that one, and we are forging ahead. The third of the live-action shows is Dunk and Egg, helmed by Steve Conrad. My team and I have had some great sessions with Steve and his team, and we really hit it off. He's determined to do a faithful adaptation of the stories, which is exactly what I want. These characters and stories are very special to me. The first season will be an adaptation of the first novella, The Hedge Knight. Contrary to what you may have read online, the shows will not be called Dunk and Egg, which could be mistaken for a sitcom by viewers unfamiliar with these stories. We're leaning to naming it A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms for the series title, though The Hedge Knight has its partisans as well. Now, over on the animated side, well, I'm not allowed to talk about most of what's happening, except to say that things are moving very fast, and I love some of the concept art that I'm seeing. And, wait, come to think of it, the news has already leaked several months ago that one of the animated shows would be set in Yi Ti. That's true. Our working title for that show is The Golden Empire, and we have a great young writer on that one too. And I think the art and animation is going to be beautiful. I would say more if I could. I don't think I can say a word about the other animated shows. Not yet. So, there is lots going on, and House of the Dragon is coming soon. That's what you will see first. And me? I will continue to work with the writers and showrunners and directors on all these new shows. And, in addition to all that, let me say one again. Yes, I am working on The Winds of Winter. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There was a lot of information in this announcement. Some of it were things that we have heard before, but there is some very exciting news in here as well. We will unfortunately have to wait a little longer for The Winds of Winter. It's hard to know exactly how often he is writing that novel when he has so much other work on schedule. That's why I think all of you should start getting interested in some of the other things he is developing. It will help make the days go by as we wait for the end of A Song of Ice and Fire. Now, as much as I want The Winds of Winter right now, I'm still happy that he's helping create these other shows. I also love to hear that he's making sure they follow his canon. Hopefully, that means HBO and their writers will actually learn from the mistakes that were made on Game of Thrones. As you can see, there is a lot to discuss, so leave me some of your thoughts down below. What has you excited the most, other than The Winds of Winter and House of the Dragon, of course? What show would you like to see made after House of the Dragon? I think it's Dunk and Egg for me, but like I always say, I'm open to just about anything so long as it's good. Now, before I go, I want to thank all of you for watching the video. I hope everyone has a great day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.